how to be happy and confident around women. Obviously, there's a million strategies on how to become more confident around women. Today, we're going to talk about one that's super effective, but also one that's absolutely essential for your well-being and happiness in life. It is one of the things that if you don't take it serious, like most men, no matter how successful they are, how ambitious they are, they don't take it serious, it will lead to a lot of suffering, or at the very least, a lack of happiness in your life. Today, we're going to talk about male friendships. And let me tell you something. Outside of having an amazing girlfriend and life partner, having high quality male friends that are close to your heart, and what high quality means, we're going to talk about in a minute, is the single greatest source of happiness. Obviously, you have to be on your path, on your mission as a man. Obviously, it's not just one thing, but it is one of the most important things in your life. First of all, I want to talk to you about why you should even care about creating a social network, a tribe, a social circle of high quality male friends. Well, first of all, you have to understand that our brain was shaped or was developed into its current form around 200,000 to 300,000 years ago. Most anthropologists agree. And back in the day, we as human beings were living in tribes of 200 to 300 people. And back then, we had our tribe, 150, 200, 300 people around us all the time. We had social contact 24/7. Your brain realized that you are a descendant of an ancestor who had social contact 24/7, because your brain learned back in the day that if you get isolated from the tribe, you get eaten by a fucking tiger. You get killed by other tribal members. You lose the ability to go and hunt. Because if you want to go and hunt a mammoth or a tiger or whatever it is people were hunting back in the day, you needed other strong men around you to be able to hunt them and actually outrun them. A friend of the military told me about that rarely that they actually ever kill them or throw a spear and then it landed perfectly and it died. They would actually outrun a lot of the animals, and then they would die of a heart attack or something, or they just wouldn't be able to go anymore, and then they would slaughter them. That's all only, sorry for the vegans out there, my apologies. All of that is only possible because you're in a group of people. So you have a brain that is acutely aware of when you're not in the contact or in the immediate environment of your tribe. And what happens? It increases cortisol. It increases adrenaline. The number one reason for depression, anxiety, and addiction, and science is pretty clear on that. Read Johann Hari's book, The Real Reasons for Anxiety and Depression, Lost Connections, is a lack of high quality social contact. There's other reasons as well, but it is one of the most important ones. If you are isolated too much, even if you're an introvert, you're going to suffer. And I understand that most of you who are watching this may be a little bit more introverted. Do you know the only scientific difference between an introvert and an extrovert? The only scientifically documented difference between an introvert and an extrovert is the fact that extroverts get less dopamine from social interactions than introverts. You might say that's a little bit counterintuitive, but no, it makes sense. Because introverts, they get dumped a lot of dopamine in a very short period of time if they're in social contact, so they need less. Me, as an extrovert, I need a lot more social contact because I get less. So when Fernanda and I, for example, we go and spend time with our friends, our Dublin family, I can be there for 7, 8, 9, 10 hours and keep going. After 2.5 hours, she was like, I love them so much, this was amazing, and now I'm going to be able to chill and read a book by myself. She needs a lot less, and 80% of my clients are actually introverts, so that's true for them as well. But nonetheless, you still need social contact. There's no such thing as a loner. It does not exist. It defies basic anthropology. It defies basic biology. Spending time in the company of high quality male friends, family members, or at some point also, obviously, your girlfriend or life partner, increases oxytocin, increases serotonin and dopamine. It's one of the most important things. And I can tell you something. I've worked with men who are very early in their career. I've worked with men who are extraordinarily successful, running tech companies, multi-millionaires, rich as fuck. All of them across the board, 98% of them do not have enough high quality male friends. Jordan Peterson says, sanity is something we outsource to the people around us. Spending time with high-quality male friends stabilizes you. It produces a sense of certainty that you're not going to be able to get from any other thing. Yes, financial security obviously provides you with a necessary degree of certainty in life, but you will crumble when a woman rejects you. You will crumble when life throws challenges at you. Now, maybe you don't, maybe you have an amazing mindset. And I don't want to jump to an extreme, but the probability that you're going to suffer, the probability that you're going to deal with life's challenges, especially in relation to women, in a much less effective way, if you don't spend time in the company of high-quality men, is a lot higher. So that's why you should care about spending time with high-quality male friends. Me, for example, I have 2 memberships. I have a membership for a gym. It's pretty premium, pretty nice. Fernanda and I go there. But the problem with that gym is they don't really allow visitors. So I have a second gym membership for a less expensive gym that has a sauna, but where I'm able to bring friends, because every so often I just want to work out with my friends. And the activities you can do with high quality male friends, which is not getting drunk, by the way, or it's something we're going to talk about in a few minutes. It's something that I absolutely love. Going to the gym, working out, beating the fuck out of each other in a friendly way, sitting in the sauna, engaging in good habits in company. If you're into personal development, if you're into self-improvement, why the hell should you have to engage in all these amazing habits by yourself? Why not combine them with high-quality social contact? My best friends in childhood, they were the biggest source of happiness. I don't know about you, but you probably also grew up in a time where the internet wasn't as prevalent, or maybe it didn't even exist. So we actually spent time outside. One thing I was really bad at was meeting high-quality women and communicating my personality authentically and effectively around women. But one thing I was always good at was making high-quality male friends. And that's something that I want to go into in a little bit more detail. But I need you to understand how bad your life is going to be if you don't take it serious. The good thing is I'm going to give you the solutions here today, how you can meet and attract and sustain high-quality male friendships. So let's dive right in. What is compatibility? What is a high-quality male friend? There are certain universal qualification criteria that you should look for when it comes to the selection of high-quality male friends, as well as some individual ones. The individual ones are obviously individual to you, but some of the most important universal ones is 1, high self-esteem. The person has to be positive. Just like when it comes to the selection of an amazing woman, the person has to be happy. Is he positive? Is he somebody who's secure within himself? Because that will lead to him being able to cheer you on. How many men are there out there in this world where if you tell them about a success, they get a little bit grumpy. They're not able to celebrate your successes with you. A really good indicator as to whether somebody's an amazing friend or at least potential friend is whether he can celebrate your successes with you. Then on the other hand, is he somebody that you can share bad news with? It's very easy to laugh and have fun with a lot of people. You meet somebody at a networking event, you're having a little bit of fun, and then the next day, I'm sure you've had that in a business context, at networking events, or in some sort of a professional, or maybe even a social environment. They're having a couple of drinks, you're getting on really well, maybe they even hug you. The next day you meet them, they're either really cold or they pretend to never known you, to have never known you at all. So you want people that you can not just laugh with, but somebody that you can really go through difficult times with. Now that's not to say that you're supposed to bond via misery, because misery loves company. 95% of the time you spend should be spent talking about productive and positive things. But there is an element of you talking about the challenges. That's what friends are there for. It's super important. Now, the next thing you should look for is a degree of compatibility regarding your core values. If you want somebody to be a good friend, you have to have the same values. You know how they say that opposites attract? Bullshit! Complete bullshit. That's mainstream nonsense dating advice. It doesn't apply in dating, and it definitely does not apply in relation to high quality male friends. You have to have things in common. The more you have things in common, the more you're going to enjoy the company of each other. It's crucial. You cannot have highly differing political views. You cannot have highly differing religious views. It's just not possible. If you're too far on the other side of the extreme than the other person, you're not going to be able to bond because it's always going to create conflict. You have to have a similar lifestyle. You have to have similar habits. If one of you is super fit, the other person can't be fat and not give a shit about fitness at all, because what's going to happen is either the one person is going to lower their standards, or, which should hopefully happen, the other person should raise their standard. Now, that is not to say that if you're fit, that you can only hang out with fit people. This is not to say that if you're fat, you can only hang out with fat people. And I've had clients who were a little bit more fat, some who are in great shape, and we've been able to find amazing girlfriends or life partners for all of them. But that's not the issue of today. You can absolutely spend time with people who have different habits, but if it's too far from how you're living life, what are you going to bond over? The one person may want to sit at home, smoke a cigar and drink whiskey, which is amazing and fun to do every now and then. But you may want to go to the gym. You may want to have a sparring session. You may want to go to the sauna. You may want to go rock climbing. You may want to go to fucking CrossFit. You may want to be living a more active lifestyle, and you may want to bond over an activity as opposed to just sitting around. Obviously, sitting around and having deep, meaningful conversations with high-quality male friends is one of the best things in the whole world. One of the greatest sources of happiness is just talking shit with the boys. Just having fun. Talking nonsense, locker room talk, shooting the shit is one of the purest sources, one of the most amazing things you'll ever be able to do, one of the greatest gifts in life. But you're only going to be able to do that if your values are in common, because if you don't have values in common, if your values aren't the same, one person is going to get offended. And then what are you going to do if one person gets offended? How are you going to vibe? What are you going to do? It's not going to work. So, back to the universal qualification criteria. 1, high self-esteem, high compatibility regarding your values. Does that person cheer for your successes? And then the next one is, that person should be similarly successful to yourself. You should have people who are ahead of you in life, peers, and people that you're helping move forward in life. It's same in martial arts. I was training karate for many years, and I was teaching karate at my university back in the day. And one of the things that we were always teaching to people in a martial arts environment from early on, even if you've only been training for 6 months, you should start teaching the new people, at least on a one-on-one basis when you're working with them in jiu-jitsu or in karate. Because by teaching, you're learning. You should have people on your level, and you should have people who are kicking your ass, because you get humbled and you learn from that. Now, you can't just spend time with people who are better than you, because you're going to feel bad about yourself. You're going to have to, your ego needs a little gratification every now and then, where you spend time with people who you are mentoring and who, not just for yourself, but who you are helping move forward in life and take the next step. And then you want to have peers, because peers are important. Because if you're doing very well in your life already, then some people may be a little bit more envious. Some people may not understand the lifestyle you're living. So you want to have people from all the 3 categories that I just talked about. People who are further ahead of you in life, people who are on the same level, and people who are below you in terms of achievement or not as far advanced yet. Not as a human being, obviously, they simply haven't accomplished as much as you yet. But it's important that you definitely have a couple of peers. So, where do you meet high-quality men like that? I'm going to give you a couple of places that you should go to find these high-quality male friends. Number 1, an expensive gym. Really pay $100, $200, maybe even $300 a month for a gym. Because if you go to a regular gym that costs $50 a month, there's a greater selection of people with whom you might not have too much in common. Paying $100, $200, $300 a month is one of the most important things, because think about it. How can you not get a positive ROI? How can you not get a positive return on investment? How much money do you spend a month on alcohol? How much money do you spend a month on cigars? On useless shit. Because whenever I talk to people about, $200, $300 a month for a gym, ooh, it's quite a bit, isn't it? Yes, but how much money do you spend on other shit? Spend $200 a month to go to a premium gym, because the people who are there, they gotta be doing kind of well for themselves. And then you can strike up a conversation when you're doing bench. You can be like, hey, excuse me, could you spot me for a second? Cool, awesome. Then you spot that person. Then you go to the sauna. Here's the craziest thing. Most men have never even learned how to meet high quality male friends. You've been so focused on your career, your business. You've been focused on maybe hobbies, but you haven't focused, and it's not even your fault. You haven't focused on meeting high-quality male friends, because it's a skill set. It's extraordinarily simple, but if you don't do it, it's not going to happen. It's common sense, but common sense really isn't common practice. So, what do? You're in the gym, you walk up to a random dude like, hey, excuse me, could you spot me for a second? Then he spots you. Then you strike up a conversation. You can say the most boring shit, because you're not trying to fuck him. And very important, when you're in the gym, call him bro, so he knows what your intention is and what your intention isn't. if you get what I'm saying. Not that there's anything wrong with that at all, but if that's not what you're going for, then you may want to make that clear. So you can say, hey bro, could you spot me for a second? 30, 40, 50, 60 years of age, it doesn't matter. Call him bro, it's fine. They like that. He spots you, and then you can say something something boring, something generic, like, oh, you come here often. Okay, cool. You start a conversation, you see if he's into it. If he's open to talking, you continue the conversation, and then you can say something like, hey, we should go train together next time. Awesome. Then you train together, and then here's one of the most effective strategies for meeting men ever. It's called the coffee strategy. You invite men from the gym to coffee. Again, not because you want to fuck them, but that's because it's a very simple way to get to know each other and talk. You can invite them to go train together. You can invite them to go to the sauna together. You can go and meet them for coffee. But you ask me, hey, could you spot me for a second? Hey, would you mind taking a quick video for my Instagram story? Sorry, would you mind taking a quick video so I can check the form later on? Boom! But you actually have to do it! Men, and you know that in business, you know that in your career, most men are doing everything they can to not do the thing. I can give you the best strategy, and it is one of the best strategies. And you're gonna think about it, you're gonna say that makes sense, but you're not gonna do it. Doing this one thing can supply you with with one or two new best friends in the next 1 or 2 or 3 months. Ask yourself, how much better would your life be if you had a couple of days a week where you spent time with amazing, high quality new best friends? And now you might have a bit of emotional resistance because they're not your best friends yet, because you haven't developed that comfort yet. Because remember, your brain rewards you with all kinds of positive chemicals and neurotransmitters when you're in the company of people that you already know. But to get that reward, that neurochemical reward, you have to go through a phase of getting to know them. But if you can anticipate that in the beginning, that there's going to be a phase where you're not going to feel like best friends yet because they're only becoming your best friends, then it's fine. But you have to be willing to actually do the thing, utter the fucking sounds, invite them to coffee. And by the way, you have to understand there's going to be conversion rates. Not every man you're going to start talking to is going to become a best friend of yours. Obviously, 9 out of 10 actually won't. But you're going to expand your social circle. Some of them you're going to meet once every couple of months. But if you do this a couple of times, if you do this 20 times, you're going to end up with one new, at least really good friend. Wouldn't your life be 30% better in terms of happiness if you had somebody that you can go out with, meet women with, that you can hang with? Just understand that you have to learn to meet people, and I'm going to give you a couple more places where you can meet those people, but you have to also learn to navigate the emotional discomfort in the beginning and just understand this is just me leaving my comfort zone. Or as one of my teachers back in the day, who was one of the most brilliant experts on EFT, emotional freedom techniques, Brad Yates would say, expanding your comfort zone. Because who the fuck wants to be outside of the comfort zone the whole time anyway? We want to leave our comfort zone periodically, but more often not, we want to be in our comfort zone. But by leaving your comfort zone, you actually expand it. And what used to be outside of your comfort zone is now part of your comfort zone. Little example. 2 years ago or so, I was walking through the streets in Dublin, through a busy shopping street. And I said to him, this guy's a fitness coach, and I said to him, you know how comfortable you feel in any gym of the world because you've been going for 10 years? This is how I feel in every shopping mall, in every concert, in every bar or nightclub. Wherever there's people, wherever there's women, that's how comfortable I feel because I've put in the reps, because I've gotten such an extraordinary amount of reference experiences, of positive reference experiences, of being able to meet women everywhere. It's my gym. I've expanded my comfort zone. It used to be not like that at all. My heart was pounding. I was barely able to approach women at all. But you can actually expand your comfort zone to the extent where meeting new men and women becomes natural. You have to have this influx of high quality people all the time. It can never stop. It's like just like in business, you want to have a lot of potential people, potential clients, leads, prospects who are interested. Then you have a strong qualification process, and then you just disqualify the wrong ones. But what most people do, most men are so afraid of meeting the wrong people, they never open themselves, they never offer themselves. It is your responsibility to create the outcomes you want. And one of the things in January 2023 is where this is being filmed, in the West Coast of beautiful Ireland here. One of the things most men never write down as one of their New Year's resolutions is high quality male friends and even happiness. You may have financial goals, you may have fitness goals, You may have other health goals, but have you actually made relationships, an amazing woman, as well as high quality male friends, like a priority? Have you actually visualized it? Can you please go back to the utter basics of personal development and just imagine yourself, visualize what it would be like to have these amazing people in your life, to have an amazing woman by your side, as well as high quality male friends. See, I'm pretty German. I'm pretty logical. I'm very rational to the extent that I live in objective reality. I'm not too far out there in woo-woo land. At the same time, the law of attraction it doesn't work if you sit at home and you're trying to magically manifest an elephant into your fucking room. Oh, it's gonna come to me. No, you actually have to take action. You have to be disciplined. You have to have the right strategies. Of course. But if you never aim, you're never going to be able to hit the target. If you never even visualize what it would be like to have an amazing woman in your life, to spend time with high quality male friends, to go rock climbing, to drive to the other side of Ireland. If you never even visualize, you're like a blindfolded person at a shooting range trying to hit a target. The probability you're going to be able to do it is very, very low. So fucking visualize. What are other places that you can go to find amazing high quality male friends? Well, golf. Great place. If you live in Dubai, for example, you can join the Mustang Club or the Lamborghini Club or the fucking Toyota Club, whatever it is. You can join car clubs. You can go and join a martial arts studio. In our experience, in my experience, people who do jiu-jitsu especially tend to be better people. There's a lot of I have a lot of clients who are doing very well for themselves, doctors, lawyers, business owners, who are doing jiu-jitsu. Start jiu-jitsu. And the beautiful thing about jiu-jitsu is, as opposed to boxing or kickboxing, you're going to suffer almost no brain damage, because with boxing and kickboxing, if you do it too much, it's going to decrease your life expectancy and it's going to fuck up your brain and you're going to have all kinds of issues later on. So you want to be careful with boxing and kickboxing, especially if you make money using your brain as opposed to your fucking fists. But jiu-jitsu is beautiful because you have none of that. And it's something you're going to be able to do until you're 60, 70, or 80. And you're going to meet so many people. It's going to improve your confidence. It's one of the best places to meet high-quality male friends. Now, that being said, start talking to people everywhere. You can go to Bumble and look for friends. You can genuinely do that. You can go join bachata and salsa classes. There's a lot more places that you can go to. Use the ones I've already given you. Please just put it into practice. And you realize that I have an unusually high degree of passion for this particular video because it's so dear to my heart. When I went through the hardest times in my life, when I was with my ex-wife, I was not spending time with high quality male friends. The times where I suffered the most was when I wasn't spending time with men who are testosterone driven, strong, powerful, yet kind and warm human beings. And that is another thing that I forgot to speak about earlier. One of the most important universal qualification criteria that you want to look for in high quality male friends is a sense of warmth. Are they warm? Are they kind? Are they loving people? That's one of the most important things. My clients, on average, disproportionately, 98% of them, I would say, are super kind, warm, loving people. Obviously not all of them, because that doesn't really work like that. But most people really are. And 100% of my close male friends, who I'm so blessed to have in my life, are warm people. It's very hard to describe. That's really it. Are they warm? Are they loving? Are they kind? Are they gentle? Do they genuinely have your best interest at heart? If they do, that's probably one of the most important things. And by the way, I have some friends who are not doing that well. I have one of my friends, I don't want to go into too much detail, but I used to go to university back in the day with him, and he's not that successful yet. He's on his path, but he's not there yet. It doesn't matter. This guy is one of the purest, most positive, loving souls. And I have no doubt that this guy in 10 years is going to fucking kill it. He's going to be at an amazing spot because he's working on himself. And here's another one. You know how they say you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most amount of time with? It doesn't mean that everybody has to be as ambitious as you, but it's important that there's never any negativity. If you present them with new ideas, obviously you want, pardon me, constructive feedback. If you have a stupid idea, they're supposed to call you out. They're supposed to call you out. But at the same time, some people like to call you out just to make themselves feel better. Oh, well, really, If there's negativity, for the sake of negativity, for the sake of boosting their own ego because they're deeply insecure inside, you gotta cut them the fuck out. But as long as they're encouraging you, as long as they're supporting you in your business, with your hobbies, with women, with finding the right girlfriend and life partner, they're an amazing person to spend time with. So, go to these places, actually put that into practice, but then also, as you're meeting a lot of people, learn to disqualify the wrong ones very quickly. Somebody misbehaves, there's a deal breaker, there's a red flag, somebody's very selfish, somebody's narcissistic, they talk shit about behind your back, they don't seek to add value to your life, kick them the fuck out instantly. There's some people here whose life, some of you guys, whose lives would greatly improve if you were to kick out one toxic as fuck person. That being said, we attract in life not what we want, we attract what we are. In our society, we like to call people, this is toxic, that's toxic, this is toxic. Well, how about yourself? Have you never said anything bad? Have you never been emotionally reactive? Now, granted, there are some people who are genuinely toxic as fuck, and you have to cut them out. That being said, learn to foster a sense of warmth and love and steadiness by meditating, by exercise, by going into personal development, by looking at psychotherapists, coaches. Work on yourself. Foster a sense of warmth and steadiness in your own heart, and thereby you will attract more of the same. I genuinely believe, as flawed as I am, and we're all flawed, the friends that I've been able to attract into my life is because that's one of the biggest parts in me. We all make mistakes, but that warmth, that love is something you have to be able to offer on the front end. You have to give it first. People say, well, I'm going to wait for people to show me how much they are deserving of my love before I give it. I'm going to wait for people to show me how much they're worthy of deserving of my trust before I give it. No, you give it a little bit, you see how they react, and then you give it a little bit more, and then you give it a little bit more, and then you give it a little bit more. If you get a lot of people into your life, but you have to have a lot of interaction points for that. If you get a lot of people into your life at a high level, then you can allow them in deeper and deeper and deeper. And your life will improve beyond anything else. Now, in order to make relationships work, two things. Number one, the number one principle, you always have to seek to add value. Seek to add value. How can I make their life better? How can I contribute to their lives? What's important to them? And we all got to work on that. I got to work on that. Everybody has to work on that. Okay, this person has knee problems. Maybe I can help them with that. I have a friend. He helped another friend who had knee issues by sending him some of the shit from knees over toes guy, who's brilliant. These are little things, and we all have to get better at that. What's important to my friend at this point in time? What can I do to help him achieve his goals? Not to emotionally satisfy his ego. Yes, obviously we want to give him comfort and love, but to actually help him achieve his long-term goals. And it doesn't have to create pressure within you, but just ask yourself when you wake up, what can I do today to contribute to somebody? Number one, value. Number two, you have to learn to apologize, because conflicts are going to happen. I'm going to make a separate video on how to manage conflict effectively. But conflicts are going to happen. If you don't learn to apologize quickly, you're going to lose relationships. You will, 100%. And I used to have a hard time with that as well. Then I got better at it. Because I make mistakes, everybody makes mistakes. But it's fine as long as your intent is pure, you don't repeat the mistake, and you actually apologize. Because people need to feel understood. People need to feel understood. The reason you apologize is not because you make yourself weak and it weakens your frame. You do it because you show the other person a sign of respect. So they're like, oh yeah, I did something that wasn't okay, and I recognize it may have had a negative emotional impact on you, and I'm going to do my best to never let that happen again. Learn to apologize quickly. So, I hope this video was valuable to you. Please make a decision in January 2023, or whenever it is you're watching this, to take this area of your life serious. One of the biggest sources of happiness is going to be high quality male friends. Put it into practice. Wish you all the best. Take care.